Just a few quick points to close with. One, as we go out today, remember this. Remember, God will be true to his promises. We saw this, we see this in our story today. We should have confidence that we'll see it in our lives. We need to remember that as new covenant believers, people of the kingdom of the one who reigns on David's throne, we have this promise given to us in Philippians chapter 1, verse 6, "For I'm confident of this very thing, that he who began a good work in you will perfect it until the day of Jesus Christ." He will make you into the image of Jesus Christ, sometimes through good, sometimes through bad, sometimes through the mountain, sometimes through the valley. God did the work of calling you. God did the work of transforming your heart. God did the work of taking that heart of stone and causing it to respond to him. And if God started this, then friend, believe me, he will continue and finish the job. Another point, remember that God has you here now for such a time as this. Every moment of your life is a defining moment. Whether your circumstances are great, whether you feel they could be perhaps improved a little bit, whether you feel like you live a rather boring, mundane life, whether you're in the world of business, whether you're a mom at home schooling your children, whatever it might be, ask God, why do you have me here? God has you here for a purpose, for such a time as this. And sometimes we might not understand why things are happening now, but sometimes it's looking in the back and seeing what has happened in our life for us to say, oh, I see how God's providence worked in my life. I think as a church, we can relate to that. Trying to imagine taking a time machine back to the spring of 2020, back when the COVID craziness was happening. Desert Hills decided to keep its doors open. We came back to Desert Hills during that time, and there weren't very many people there. Can you imagine Pastor Rob being told, hey, you and your people, both of them, in about 2 years' time, you're going to be having to move to a larger campus because you're going to just outgrow this place and then some. Would have been a little far-fetched, but we look back, don't we? And we see how God moved the pieces around. And then finally, because God works his providence in your life, his presence is always with you. Whether it be on the mountain, whether it be in the valley, whether it be walking alongside quiet waters, the green pastures, or even if we're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, God is engaged with every detail of our life. Would we be open to engaging with what he is doing in our life? It will be a source of great comfort. And though we can't see visibly God himself, we know that his providence is at work in our lives. His providence behind the veil. Let's close in prayer.